Hello and welcome. I didn't know we were live and my husband just walks off and leaves. Just kidding. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for tuning in. Today we are talking about, do you know what you want? I want my husband to stay on this show with me, not just leave me alone. Just kidding. No, what do you really want in life? Do you know? Have you thought about it? Are you just going through the motions in life? Or do you know exactly what you want? And do you know that you're heading towards it? Or do you have everything you want in your life already? Well, I think anyone that says they have everything in life that they want,
They don't have big ambitions.
I think they're lying either to themselves or other people, because I know, at least for me, whenever I reach a goal or accomplish something, then I'm like, oh, I could do that. Okay, cool. What else can I do? And so it's always about striving for more and seeing what potential you have to reach. And it's not about not being satisfied or grateful for what you have. It's about seeing what you're capable of.
Yes.
In my opinion.
Yeah. So there's a guy who said most people don't get what they want because they don't know what they want. So we want to talk about that today. Do you know what you want? How to get it? And if you don't know how to get it, do you know how to get some of the information that you need so that you can get what you want? So in life, most people are trying to get what they want. They want to get their way. They want to get things to go their way. They'd rather people say yes to them than say no. Well, what are people going to be saying yes to? And so, and what are you going to go after? Where are you going to put your attention? It said that where your attention goes, your energy flows. So if you got your attention on problems, your energy is going to go towards problems. If you got your attention on solutions, your energy is going to go towards solutions.
My energy is on lots of cash flow, baby.
Yeah. So
Tell
look
me
at what your
you want,
attention
what
is.
you really, really want.
She's been in a rap video this weekend. So we're going to talk about that today, helping you, and then drop in some of the comments. Share with us, what are some of the things you're pursuing right now? What are some of the things you want, whether it's now or for your future, but you've identified as, this is something I want. It could be a family. It could be moving up in your company. It could be more responsibilities. Whatever it is that you want, we're going to talk about identifying that and how to go about executing it today.
And here's a clue. If you find that you keep getting what you don't want in life, then that's a clue that you're really clear on what you don't want, and that's what you might be focusing on. For me, I'll tell you, before I met Martin, I had like all the wrong relationships. I kept finding all the wrong guys. And so I had to get really clear on what I actually want in a relationship, because I got really clear on what I didn't want. And I knew the qualities I didn't want, but that's all I focused it on what I did not want. And so I was focusing on that, and that's what I kept finding. So I had to literally write down a list of the things that I wanted, the qualities I wanted, the kind of relationship I wanted, to get clear. And here's a tip. Sometimes what you have to do, when you really think about, what do I want? And you might be like, well, gosh, I know what I don't want. And you can start from there. Start writing down a whole list of all the stuff that you don't want in life, all the relationships that you don't want, all the financial problems that you don't want. This is if you're having a hard time figuring out what it is that you want. And then you just write the exact opposite. So like, if you know you don't want somebody who cheats on you, then the opposite of that is you want someone who is faithful to you. And then you got to ask yourself, am I the kind of person, do I have the qualities, do I bring to a relationship somebody who deserves not to be cheated on? Not saying people deserve to get cheated on, but we all have to take responsibility in the results and actions, in our life. So I had to realize, I got to do some work on myself to become the kind of person that will attract the kind of person that I want to have a relationship with.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, dreams are free. It doesn't cost you anything to dream. I came to America from Liberia, West Africa, I grew up in a war zone. My whole childhood was since I was 6 years old till I became a young adult and I came to America. My entire childhood. Now, of course, there were fun moments and positive and all that kind of stuff, but it was constant disruption. I lived in different countries in West Africa. I was born in Liberia in West Africa, and we had war since I was a kid. So as a result of that, sometimes you be lying there on the floor because when they're shooting, when rebel forces are fighting, this is like in the cities or towns, and so sometimes when shooting's going on, you lie down on the floor to not get hit by stray bullets. So when you're lying down on the floor, this is what I would be thinking about. I would be thinking about I knew there were kids in America who were relatively safe, meaning they weren't living in a war zone, and so I would imagine what that would be like being in America and just not having to live in a war zone. And so all of that was part, I would picture that. I would sit there and just think about it. And that would kind of distract me from the bullets going by. And I'm not just talking about 5 or 10 bullets going by. We're talking about hours of shooting between rebel forces back and forth. And so this was my experience growing up. And so I would just sit there and I would dream. It cost me nothing to just imagine what my life would be like not being in that situation. So have you taken the time to picture what your life would look like? What things you want to do, how you want to live, where you want to live, what environment you want to be in, what kinds of people do you want to associate with? It costs nothing to sit there and dream about it. Now, you don't want to spend all your day daydreaming, but there's nothing wrong with sitting there, lying down, whether you lie down or however you do it, and you just start thinking about what you want your overall life to look like.
So someone says how to get jobs in America. Well, are you in America would be my question. And then when it comes to getting a job anywhere, you have to do an inventory of your skills.
Yeah.
What are your skills? What do you bring to the job that you are trying to get? How can you help that company to flourish and prosper? Because it's an exchange. You're giving an exchange of your skills and talents in exchange for money. So you have to know what do you bring to the table for that company. And if there's a job that you're trying to get that you don't have the skills, how can you get those skills? What we want to do, please explain. So we're talking about, do you know what you want in life? Do you know what you really want in life? A lot of times we just go through the motions of life. We get up, we go to work, we take care of our kids, we take care of our relationships, we take care of ourselves, hopefully. And sometimes we lose sight of what we actually want in life. And when we're, kids, they have no problem dreaming and imagining and talking about what it is that they want. And then as we get older and we have more responsibilities and people tell us no, and we have school and we have a job and we have bills, then it's easy to start shrinking our dreams and shrinking what it is that we really want. And we start becoming more reasonable and we start looking around within our reality of what we can afford and what we think we can attain. And so it really is important to do kind of a check-in. I just had a birthday recently, and I tend to kind of do this each year at the end of the year and also around my birthday, just doing kind of like a check-in of, hey, where am I at with my goals and the impact that I want to make in my life? Martin and I have very big goals. We want to impact a lot of people. We want to help people build an unbreakable financial house so that no matter what happens, you can handle things financially, but even beyond that, be able to create the life you truly want to live. And in order to do that, you have to know what life do you truly want to live.
Yeah.
And so like Martin was saying, you got to take some time to think about it, visualize it, get really clear about what it is that you want in every area of your life. Then the next step is you got to write it down. You got to put some goals, put it into writing, make a commitment to yourself that this is what you want to create and you're going to do it. And then beyond that, you can't just think about it, dream about it, and you can't even just write it down or tell some people. You have to actually take action. And so there's steps, you can't just spring into action, but you don't know what to do. You got to know what you want. And then you have to look around. Hey, why don't I have that? There's some information that I'm missing that I need to learn. So like, who has that knowledge? Find out who has the results, who has the life, who is living the life that you want, who has what you want, who has the relationships, the career, whatever it is, the health, and then find out what did they do to get that. And then you have to take action until you get it. Even if it gets hard, even if you have barriers, even if you have challenges, you got to continue on until you get it.
Yes. So look, none of this is anything new. You've probably heard this a million times. However, if you've heard something a million times and you don't have the result or the outcome that you want, it's not a problem with the information. It's likely a problem with either one, do you fully understand it? And two, are you actually executing on it? Is there something about what's said that you don't understand? Or is it something you're not doing? So a lot of times people look out. There's a concept called mirrors and windows. And this concept is that whenever something happens in a person's life in the world, you can look in the mirror or you can look out the window. So when a person looks out the window to look around and say, whatever is happening out there is responsible for my condition. Or a person can look in a mirror and say, whatever is happening in my world, what's in the mirror is responsible for my condition. When you're in the mirror, you have more control over things you can do. So Michael Jackson had a whole song, Man in the Mirror. He's going to start with the man in the mirror, right? And then when you're looking out the window, it's all out there. So then you don't have to take as much responsibility. It's kind of an interesting way of approaching something, because number one is not something that's new. There's tons of people who achieve goals. You hear every day about some guy who was down on his luck, or some lady who had a tough life and a tough time, and they rise up. And you always think, how the hell does that person go from way over down here to way up here? Well, a lot of times it just comes down to the action taken. So you've got almost everybody has some sort of gap, right? There's where they want to be, the ideal life they want to live, the ideal body they want to have, all of that. And then there's where they are today, presently. So then there's this gap in between where they want to be and where they are today. And then there's having the correct knowledge, meaning having the correct information, and then the correct actions. Those are the two simple steps. It's not over. Life itself is generally not overly complicated. We complicate it with a lot of different things, but most things are actually quite simple. They're not easy to do, because if there were, everybody would do it. Like everybody knows, maybe not everybody knows, but most people know that how to get. Most people know that if you eat crappy foods, you get fat. And if you eat crappy foods and you don't exercise, you get fat, right? And most people are aware that there's a place called the gym. And if you go to the gym and you work out consistently, you can get results. Now, I've gone to the gym before where I worked out and I wasn't getting results. Why? Because I was still missing information. And number two, my levels of action was not enough, meaning I was taking too little action. I was doing some of the right actions, but it was too small. So I wasn't getting the results I want. So then you have to look at, do you want to have the correct information? And the way you validate if you have the correct information is like Chelsea mentioned, you're talking to people who have already attained some results. So what we do is we look and study. I look and study companies and people. I want to look at people who are not just good in one area. I want to look at people who are good in different areas of their lives, because there are people who have a great business, great, phenomenal business, but their lives are in disarray. Their children hate them. They abuse drugs and alcohol. They do all these different things, but they don't necessarily show that to you because that doesn't make them look good. So they show you the good parts of their life and they don't show you the other parts. I look for people who show me their lives in general, right? And then let me see your kids. Meaning I don't need to be seeing your kids all the time, but let me see how your kids are.
A little weird.
Talk about how your kids are. There's this one influencer.
Let me see your kids.
This is somebody I know personally. It's one influencer, big, huge guy, got on social media, all these different things. This guy's married, never talks about his wife and kids. Never, ever. This seems odd to me. You talk about life, relationships, all these different things, but almost never talked about his wife and kids. And I thought, okay, you don't have to talk about what you're doing with them on a daily basis. But to me, there's a reason why. There's something there that this person isn't necessarily want to talk about. And I know why. And so I won't talk about who it is or anything like that. It's not about them, but it's about, I look for people who are transparent with you in where they are, what they've done, and what they're doing. Like people see me, you see me with my wife. You see us talk about our kids. Our son's a teenager. You can look at videos where we've had him in videos, all that. He's a teenager now, so he doesn't always want to be in all the videos and stuff like that with us. But you see me with my wife. You see us going and doing stuff. You can see my life. And it's not perfect, but you can see it. You can get a sense of who I am. You may hear me talk about being from Africa and the traumatic experiences I had there. Look for people who are transparent and show you different aspects of their life. Not people who are just good in one area, but people who are at least decent in their life in general. And then when you identify that, then you can learn some of the actions to take from some of those people.
So if one of the things that you want to do in your life is to strengthen your financial house, we actually have a free introductory course that you can get to know a little bit more about what we teach, what makes up your financial house, and how to strengthen each area. So if you want to check that out, you can go to sixbuildingblocks.com/intro, sixbuildingblocks.com/intro. And if you have any questions or want to reach out, please send us a message. We're happy to help.
All right. We will catch you guys next time, and thank you for watching.
Bye.